What's up, guys? Today we're going to talk about the film The Substance. As always, the main focus will be on lighting, cinematography, and maybe some camera stuff. It is one of these videos where we just try to guess what they used behind the scenes. So let's go! This first photo already shows us the main living room where a huge chunk of the film is taking place. And there's actually a lot to discover here already. Firstly, they used a photo backdrop for the city background. And there's a lot of lighting in place to make it look realistic enough. On the bottom floor, I counted 16 to 17 RE sky panels, and in the later shot here, you can see that they used them to give the photo backdrop even levels of light. One interesting fact, the advert seems to be on wheels, so they can perfectly position it for each camera angle. The top section here is mostly used to emulate different sun situations. They use some RE sky panels, and one or two REM somethings. I can't really tell what it is. Maybe it's an M80 or just an M40, but in general they just used it to emulate different sunlight situations. On the right side here you can already see the main living room set. We will have a look at that in a second. To emulate sunlight or cloudy sunlight more effectively, there's also a diffusion layer in place here. I would assume there are additional sky panels behind it. And you can even see in this shot that there is another huge chunk of sky panels lighting the photo backdrop from the top. I'm not crazy good at math, but that adds up to about 40 plus sky panels just for the stage and the photo backdrop alone, which is a lot considering the price of one of these sky panels. But therefore they can create all kinds of different lighting situations, day, night, whatever. You can see in one of these pictures actually that they have a huge lighting console, and with the console they just control all the lights with. But let's jump inside. The first thing you can notice here is a giant softbox that they built above the main filming area. Most likely again with some sky panels above it. I think the main purpose is probably to give the room some boost, because it just always looks nice to have a top light on the actors, and they probably realized that if the sunlight is coming from outside of the window and there's no light inside, it's just a bit too much contrast. So it's simply boosting some levels. Sometimes they even use some gels to soften the light, like in this shot. I'm pretty sure that this is an REM90 or REMax 18 or 12K. I assume they also put a gel in front of it to make it look more like real sunlight. What I really love about the living room setup as a whole is that the practical lighting going around the ceiling just looks extremely cool. Like, I don't know how they did it, probably with some LED stripes, but it just looks extremely cool. At night in the shot right here, we can really see the softbox working wonders, boosting a good amount of lighting levels in the main area. If you look at the frame more closely, on the left side in the kitchen, there's definitely a key light. And there's also a more bluish light that is probably coming from outside, shining into the living room area from behind the kitchen. One funny thing I realized is that they changed the colors of the walls when she's in the other character, which I never realized watching the film. Because the picture is so well designed, you can see here that they could get away with like a simple 2-point lighting setup. And also it's not very hard to make this painting look great, because it already looks great by itself. By the way, it took me ages to cut this behind the scenes material out of the original documentary, so if you would subscribe to this YouTube channel, I'd be really happy. Thanks, guys. In this shot, she has a warmer key light from the left side of the face, and there are also these cool reflections of the practicals that you can see in the background. They just enhance the shot by a ton. This right here is the moonlight from outside, which just looks like a normal RE sky panel. I also found this very interesting shot here where he is holding a light panel in his hands, just giving a normal key light from the left side of the face. It looks like some form of softbox, which is maybe mounted to light mat or an LED panel. I mean, you can't really tell, but it's probably something very standard. Here we have a nice backlight from outside. Pretty sure they also used it as a key for this shot. Sometimes they also flag the sunlight coming from outside, just to give some better contrast on the character, like in this shot. And here we have an LED panel once again. On this floor running shot right here, it looks like they only lit it with the LED stripes that you can see on top. And then we are already in the bathroom. The bathroom setup is quite cool because it's like super simple, but I also realized that they most likely have two different stages. They have a VFX stage, which is like somewhere else in the whole studio, and they have this real version of the bathroom. The bathroom is mostly lit by practical top lights, which are most likely either some tubes or LED panels with some diffusion layer underneath it that you can see in the shot right here. it's just a simple top lighting approach again. Every now and then they are using some Astera Titan tubes on the side with some black flags just to boost some overall levels of the walls in the specific shot. And they use this negative fill to make sure that it's not spilling on the character itself or whatever, on something that they don't want to be bright in the picture. By the way, on the mirror shot right here, they are using a red Raptor for some reason, while almost everything else is shot on the Arial X Mini LF. And other than that, you just see some occasional key lights and some small tube practicals every now and then. In this shot, you can see all the lights in action at once. On the VFX bathroom stage, which is like a completely separate stage, you can see that they used some classic sky panels again into a diffusion layer. They just went for the classic top light approach again, which makes sense because in the real set they also mostly have a top lit, so they cannot just change that randomly for the VFX stage. And this general top lighting approach is something that you can see quite often in film. It just gives you this moody, cool, contrasty look. Like in this bar shot, for example, where they also went for the top lighting approach again. In the second bathroom that you can see right here, they also stick to pretty simple lighting. You can see that there is like a tube light above her, that there is a key light in a 45-degree angle towards her, and yeah, some practicals here and there, and then it already looks nice. Sometimes you don't need that much. I feel like in general they kept it quite simple, except for this huge soundstage. While watching the BTS, one shot I found particularly interesting, and that is this one. Because there's this tiny little half-mooned panel mounted on the camera, which is really cool. I really want to have that. It's super tiny, but together with the reflector, it seems to be the actual key light for this close-up shot. If you know what that is, let me know. I don't know. No idea. Probably it's just a normal panel, but I really like the form. Yeah, and we're gonna end this with this absolutely unnecessary but very cool self-built spinning wheel with a huge amount of Titan tubes on it. And I guess they just controlled it through DMX to create this incredibly cool lighting effect, which is almost like trippy. I hope you guys liked this video. Please subscribe to this YouTube channel. As always, if you have any corrections, just make sure to write them in the comments so everyone can see them and we can all learn together. My name is Tom. See you next time.